so excited to run for VP for Finance because I think it provides a really great opportunity to sort of give back to the entire Vassar community. You know, we all go through the daily motions, and I think we all recognize that there are many components of Vassar that are just really awesome, but other things, especially in the involvement with student government, that could be revisited and looked at from a different perspective to sort of see how we could do things a little bit better.
For the past 2 years, I've been working with the Residential Life Department. First, I was a student fellow, then I was student advisor in Lathrop, and I really got a feel for working with the community and helping people out. And I think that as Vice President for Finance, that's one of the most important things that you do. You work directly with the members of the student body in order to improve their experience. And I think I have a lot of good ideas that I can use in order to make finance and administration more accessible to people, and so I'd really like to be able to do that.
I think it all boils down to communication, and connected to this are also ideas of like transparency and efficiency. So with communication, there's as VP for Finance, the official job position mostly is connected to direct interaction with the treasurers, and I think it'd be important to look at not only the direct interaction with the executive board and the organization leaders, but also how the organization leaders connect to student body and how the students connect to the VSA council. So through that whole, sort of looped connection of communication, that can make things much easier. Because as things stand, I think sometimes students get bogged down with, getting caught in the process of they have a great idea, but it might not always be easy to carry out. There can be some troubles, like if you want a table, you're like, well, what am I going to do? Or if you run into an issue, I know particularly for finance, there are a bunch of different divisions in the administration. So being sure it's clear to everyone, when do you go to purchasing office, when do you go to accounts payable, when is it best to go to the VP for Finance, or when do you even have to go to the SARC office? There are a lot of different bodies that operate independently, and being sure that everyone knows who's best to talk to for what occasion, I think is really important.
So there's 3 things I'd really want to work on if elected. The first is making the system a lot more transparent, open, and accessible. And the way I'd like to do that is by completely migrating the finance system to the internet. So I'm a computer science major, and for an internship this summer, I'm actually working at DataTel, which is a company that does software solutions for higher education. And I'm going to work, if elected, to create an entire online system that manages the entire budget. So for treasurers, members of orgs, everything is right there online, and they don't need to fill out any paperwork. I think that'd be really great. The second thing I want to work on is expanding our reach into the community and making transportation easier for students. So this semester we saw a drastic reduction in shuttle hours. I think that's a problem since a lot of students don't have a car. So if elected, I'd be sure to put VSA funding towards making shuttles available on a daily basis to places like the movies, the mall, the grocery store, New Paltz on the weekends, to sort of supplement the bus service that got introduced this year. The last thing that I'd really like to work on is diversifying programming. I think right now we have a lot of events that are sort of really, really cool, but also the same, like the large room parties. I think that giving more money to organizations and houses in order to throw a more wide range of programs would be really, really important, and that's something I'd do as VP for Finance.
I really enjoyed being treasurer of Jewett House. It's been really great, and so I have not only that side of things with the houses, but also I was treasurer for On Tap, which is a really fun small dance organization. And so through those experiences, I kind of have the gist of what it's like, on the big scale sort of things. Jewett has the largest house budget of, over $4,000, and sort of seeing what are the weekly things that they face versus, really the smaller organizations. They have a completely different set of issues that they're facing all the time. So from that experience, hopefully working with, all the orgs have their own individual needs and things that they do. So I think that experience has really helped. I'm also an economics major, so that's exciting with the math correlate. So those things are I just find it really fascinating to think about these things and sort of on the macro scale, what is a really good way to approach these sort of issues?
Sure. So like I was explaining earlier, I'm a computer science major, and I've actually worked with companies that implement these online solutions, so I think on that realm I'm really, really qualified in terms of the organization, efficiency, and sort of ability. Also, I've been treasurer for the debate team for the past 3 years, so I have a good idea of how things work there. And then lastly, because I've been working with residential life as a student advisor and also with the judicial board hearing cases, I think I have a good idea of how to work with the administration, which is something the VP for Finance does a lot, so I think I'm really qualified there.
In addition to sort of the extra projects I talked about, there are like official roles. The main one is interacting with the treasurers and really being engaged with them to be sure, a full support that they're doing the best that they can. I think that's a really important thing to provide the assistance to them, so being available at office hours every day. I'm also really quick at responding to emails, even also by cell phone. I think I'd be available to them if they really need to be. So that's one huge thing, is being sure that the treasurers are well equipped to do the best that they can do. Another thing I think would really help with that is at the beginning of the year, really providing the treasurers with the tools they need to be sure they spread out the whole year, to use the budget as they need to, and that depends on the organizations individually, so you're not left with a ton of extra money at the end of the year, or you're not blowing it all at the beginning of the year. And hopefully with these set of tools and like this sort of transparency and everything, keeping a good record of what's going on will really help all the organizations do the things that they really want to do and put on, the best events that they want to do. Because I think as a student body, Vassar students have really great ideas of what they want to do. It's just sometimes things can get caught up and not actually be able to carry out. And I think something that's really important is offering a lot of different programming and events that are going on. Not everyone loves loud music and dancing all the time, so offering a lot of different things.
I think the VP for Finance's biggest job is remaining accountable to students. So it's really easy when you get elected to just sort of see yourself as someone who manages money and just sort of get really caught up in that. But I think at the end of the day, I'd be really careful to remember that I'm there to spend everybody's money in a way that benefits the entire community. And I think sticking to those principles and making sure that I follow through on the promises that I've made is something that's really, really important. I would definitely be sure to do.